This is Debbie Christopher.
Oh, okay. Can you speak a little louder for us?
Good morning again. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Okay. Not too much to report this morning, other than that we got a response from the court and from the Attorney General, and that there's a motion filed to dismiss the writ of mandamus. We've been given a certain amount of days to submit some more information regarding our standing as it relates to our standing, and we've been working on that right now, and we fully intend to go on with the writ of mandamus. But as far as we are right now, there's been a motion filed to dismiss the writ, and I just wanted to let the board know also that the St. Croix Government Retirees Inc. was invited before the Committee on Health on Monday, and I made a presentation regarding our position on the Real ID Act and the amending the Virgin Islands Code regarding the Real ID Act as it pertains to retirees and senior citizens. So, on behalf of St. Croix Government Retirees Inc., I went before them and I put our position that we are in agreement with the bill that's being proposed, with the exception of the fact that as of October 1, everyone in the territory is going to need to have it. So I felt that it should not just say for senior citizens, because everybody's going to have it by October 1. But other than that, we placed our position and we were in agreement with the Real ID Act as it pertains to retirees and senior citizens. But that's about it for right now from our group.
Good morning. Foy speaking. My only thing I come to find out this morning is I saw the other day when I came back that the old managers for Carambola and had GERS in court and they dismissed the case. They come to agreement. I'd like to know if I got to put it in writing, how much money that costs us, because it said that they are owed 10%, 3% incentive if they do something and they were never paid. So I'd like to know how much money it costs the system again, because I thought we had done clear all those debts and stuff when we are front up the money to get Carambola, and come to find out that the managers had an agreement and it wasn't paid. So I'd like to know how much it costs. I just being curious, you know, and I'm telling you, since I'm here now, my foot on the ground, that I see they send out an ambassador, they send out people for ambassador, they could just call me. They got to even put down my name, just put my name down and say, he gonna do it. Free of charge, ain't looking at incentive or nothing. I have a good time for the time. I'd like to know what the figure was though.
Well, I will respond to both of your comments. The latter, the ambassador, yes, there's a notice out to recruit retirees who are fair-minded and reasonable and understand the facts and will take the facts to the majority of the people out there. Number two, the settlement is sealed and it cannot be made public by agreement of both parties.
Oh, by the way, Mr. Nibs, I'd like to commend Ms. Morton and GERS for the implementation now of the post-retiree workshop. I understand St. Thomas didn't respond to where this last time here to the beginning of the workshop, but the Crucians, we are gonna come out in droves to the post-retiree workshop. I think that this is something that's wonderful, that the retirees now are gonna get a chance to get information one-on-one, because sometimes they can't get to our meetings and and stuff like that. So the Crucians are signing up for the post-retirees. So I want to congratulate GERS for looking out for the retirees and include them also in another workshop.
right, ma'am, thank you.
Okay.
Anyone else?
I have another,
Okay.
yes, Phyllis Nielsen, retiree. I noticed in your, schedule of receipts and disbursements for today that, administrative expenses are about $2 million a month from January to April. Oh, that's the fiscal year, okay. All right, but it's over $1 million a month. Could you say what that includes? Does it include salaries and all expenses for GERS? And is it about $1 million a month? Thank you.
Yes, it includes salaries and expenses, and it's roughly, yes, above $1 million a month. Last year, our budget was approximately $19 million. So yes, salaries and fringes make up over 50% of that budget. Also, capital outlay makes up a significant portion of the budget. Also, professional fees make up part of the budget. So it's the budget is available when it's approved as far as a summary, and it details exactly what the administrative expenses are.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, no one on St. Thomas, thank you. Thank you all on St. Croix. Okay, secretary minutes, regular for 4/20/2017, and any corrections, deletions, additions to the minutes? I have, I think there are two corrections I would like to point out. One, has to do with correction. Dealing with the retirees who were present. Ms. Patricia Oliver's name was listed there as a retiree. Okay. And the other item had to do with the letter that was sent from the chair of the Port Authority Board. Was addressed to me. I think I noted that it was a well-written letter, but it was sent to the wrong person. Should have been sent to the governor. I thought I had made note of that. Okay. Anything else? They have motion for.
I move to accept the minutes of the April 20th meeting. As corrected.
Second?
Second.
Roll call.
Trustee Calwood,
Yes.
trustee Liger, absent. Trustee Maynard,
Yes.
trustee McDonald, excused. Trustee Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Calendar,
Yes.
Chair 4 yes, 1 absent, 1 excused.
And it's accepted. Communication and correspondences.
Correspondence dated May 12, 2017. Addressed to the Honorable Kurt A. Valley, Chairman, Committee on Finance, 32nd Legislature of the Virgin Islands, Capitol Building, Charlotte Amalie, Virgin Island, 00802. Regards to bill number 32-0050. Dear Senator Valley, thank you for your invitation to appear before the Committee on Finance to offer testimony on bill number 32-0050. The bill authorizes the government of the Virgin Islands to negotiate for ownership of stock of publicly traded companies for tax breaks or other concessions. The management of the stock shall be placed within the Government Employees Retirement System, GERS. All proceeds from the stock is proposed to be directed towards the GRS to reduce the unfunded pension liability. As you know, upon receipt of your invitation to appear, we contacted you and advised that the GRS would be unable to testify in person due to a conflict with our monthly board meeting and follow-up meetings. However, we welcome the opportunity to respond in writing. We have previously, on numerous occasions, placed on the legislative record that the GRS will accept any form of income that is directed towards the fund, but be it a direct contribution to reduce the unfunded liability or to fund missing employer contributions. In our presentation at the summit in 2016, we presented the investiture plan for the GRS, which included liquidation of the equity stock portfolio and equity managers by September 30, 2019, and bonds and bond managers by September 30, 2023, or sooner depending on market conditions. This will occur because the system continues to withdraw from the portfolio to pay monthly annuities to the retirees and administrative expenses. For the past 25 years, the plan sponsor has not funded the system on an actuarial basis. The actuarially determined employer contribution, or ADEC, due for this period is $1.5 billion, and the unfunded liability is $3.1 billion. To reverse the unfunded and liquidity issues, the actuary has recommended that the plan sponsor infuse $1.5 billion into the system by September 30, 2019 to avoid insolvency by 2023. If the fund received this infusion, the system's asset allocation requires a 60-40 split, wherein at least 60% will be invested in equities, which historically have earned a significant portion of the investment income for the fund. It takes investment income plus contributions to pay benefit payments and administrative expenses. Mr. Chairman, in conclusion, the GRS has no objections to any investment strategy that will bring income into the fund. However, there are unanswered questions regarding Bill number 32-0050, such as 1. Who will have possession of the stock certificates? 2. What would be the minimum market value of the stock? For example, between $100,000 and $1 million. 3. Will the stock be common stock or preferred stock? 4. Will the GRS have restrictions as to a holding period before cashing in the stock? Respectfully submitted, Austin L. Nib, CPAG, CGMA Administrator, CEO. Copies to the GRS Board of Trustees, Bruce Thomas, CFSC AIA Investment Officer. That concludes.
Thank you, Mr. Nibs. Any questions? Mr. Nibs, comments? Okay, Chairperson's report. Let me see. Try to make this as brief as possible. Sometime after 4/27, I received a letter from former Senator Adelbert M. Bryan appealing the administrator's decision regarding his lack of proper qualifications to appear on the election ballot to replace Trustee Edgar Rose. The board acknowledged Mr. Bryan's request for the appeal and we're in the process of hearing his appeal. In the meantime, Dr. Stephen K. Cohen, who had been declared the winner of the seat, has been asked not to participate in any board activity until the appeal has been resolved. The Daily News on May 13, 2017, had an article regarding this situation. It was as accurate as it could have been. Then on the 15th, the board received a pitchfork. Unless I read the article incorrectly, and I read it several times, the information in the paper was completely inaccurate. It just shows that you cannot believe everything that you read. I guess that they just need something to fill up the pages. There was also a recent, and let me make sure that there has not been any retraction any correction to the article. There was also a recent article in the Daily News written by a professor at UVI who described the activities of GIS as a Ponzi scheme. Again, it was a well-written article, and it was very informative as it described a Ponzi scheme and they provided information on Mr. Charles Ponzi. This article did nothing more than engender fear among the system's members. It is additionally ludicrous and disingenuous for other government officials to agree that GERS is a Ponzi scheme. Ponzi schemes are inherently fraudulent investment operations where the operator pays returns to its investors from new capital paid to the operators by new investors rather than from profits. If the plan sponsor, namely the government of the Virgin Islands, had not underpaid GERS by approximately $1.5 billion, and if the legislature had not passed those numerous unfunded mandates, there would be no discussion of insolvency or Ponzi schemes today. Now, let me end on a halo. Our investment officer, Mr. Bruce Thomas, recently passed another examination, the CIPM examination, which is a certificate in performance management. The CIPM program allows one to gain the skills to drive smarter, more effective investment decisions to maximize investors' value. And that's the end of my report. Any questions, any comments? Okay. We go back and read those articles in the daily. Administrator's report.
On April 1st, we conducted a site tour of the White House at Havenside Mall. We did cite some issues that need to be rectified at the White House. I also met with Senator Biden on that same day. On April 26th, we had a meeting with Atalanas, with the attorneys for Atalanas, and also the principals of Atalanas to resolve some outstanding issues. On May 1st, I appeared on 90.9 FM, Larry Bushalti program. On May 2nd, I met with the USW, United States Workers Union, rank and file. On the 3rd, I had a meeting with Pleasant Healthcare President and CEO in St. Croix. On May 5th, I attended the investment committee meeting. On May 9th, we met with VI Finance LLC and their principals. On May 10, I attended court mediation, ordered mediation between Carambola Management LLC and Carambola Northwest LLC. On May 12, we had our first meeting with the new WICOM management. Some follow-up meetings that have to be done. And on yesterday, I attended the meeting, Carambola board meeting in St. Croix. In regards to member services, there's been a lot of movement in member services this month. However, based on the Seagull study, the missing contribution is still estimated to be at least $8.4 million. Missing employer contributions. On May 5th, the outstanding missing contributions for the central governments that were billed is $1.5 million for 251 members. 131 retirees are waiting to receive their initial annuities with retirement dates going back to 6/30/14, an amount of $944,767.76. The balance are active members whose cases have been finalized. 120 active members in the amount of $589,104.31. I must add that yesterday we received an allotment notice that they will be releasing about $79,000 for the ADEC and another $400,000+ for to pay retiree contributions. They have given the name of the the individuals who would be paid. However, the total amount that will be due from them would be $559,000. There are outstanding pay dates from the central government. We have not received April 13th, April 27th, and May 11th. These are contributions, deductions from employees' checks, and also employers' portion. We also have outstanding contributions going back to August 2016 from East End Clinic. We're supposed to be meeting with them on May 30th. Frederiksted Healthcare Center has not remitted contributions to the GRS for pay dates April 27th and May 11th. Snyder Regional Medical Center has not remitted loan deductions only for pay date November 10, 2016, and all contributions for pay date January 5th, and employer contributions only for pay date February 2nd, February 16, March 2nd, March 16, and March 30th. As you know, we do have a settlement agreement with Juan Louis. Well, there was a settlement conference, which has to be approved. The results have to be approved by the GRS board and their board. We have been waiting for quite some time for that to be done. The last I saw of the accounts receivable was over $4 million. We did receive 315 NOPAs and 36 opt-out letters from former contractual workers. Those are 1099 workers. They were received and being reviewed to determine eligibility. In regards to the VIESA Act 7261, I think the most pressing thing which came into the news a couple of weeks ago, you know, the Act calls for appropriating in fiscal years ending 2013 and all subsequent fiscal year the sum of $7 million from the Internal Revenue Matching Fund to the GRS as a direct contribution to the unfunded liability. We are happy to report that on May 31st, 2016, we received a check in the amount of $7 million from central government as a payment on the $28 million that was due since FY 2013. The outstanding balance as of May 31, 2016 was $28 million. In addition, last week we received a payment from the Internal Revenue Matching Fund, which is earmarked for direct contribution. A payment of $1.8 million directed by OMB and the Commissioner of Finance towards the missing employer contributions for retirees to receive the initial annuities. Therefore, the outstanding balance to date is $26.2 million. There's no update on Act 7128. There's no update on the ADEC Section 718A, where there are 46 ADEC cases, 28 retirees have received their initial annuities to date. As I mentioned yesterday, we received a notice that an additional $79,000 would be submitted to us. I think that includes at least four or five retirees that are waiting for their ADEC to be paid. Now, some of those employees may have opted to resolve that through they had signed a letter, really. Some of them have signed letters to opt to pay it out of their their annuity, their retroactive annuity, and we would have to repay them the amounts that they opt to pay from their annuities. As of March 31 payroll, there are 8,526 retirees. March 31 payroll. Now that would be April 30th payroll, I'm sorry. And the total annuities have been paid from that date through, from October 1 through April 31. Sorry. Give me a chance. Total annuities that have been paid from October 1, 2014 to April 30, 2017, which is 7 months, is 100 and, with pensioners, which we have at least 3 pensioners, it's $142,192,240.77. That's $142,192,240.77. From October to April 30, 2017, 139 retirees were added to the payroll. On April 30th, there were 6 retirees added to the payroll. Deleted from the payroll from October 1, 2016 to April 30, 2017, 133 members. Expected to be placed on the payroll for May 15 pay date was 16. The gross retiree payroll for April 30, 2017 payroll was $10,182,192.45. Our refunds from January 2017 to present, these are refunds that were paid to members who were not vested or they were in or paid for erroneous, there were erroneous refunds, meaning people that are members that overpaid based on an installment plan. We call that the prior service overpayment, or maybe the plan sponsor somehow had deducted more contributions than should have been. So between January 2017, we have refunded $1,163,025.74. We received retiree applications received in 2015, 296 applications. St. Croix 148, St. Thomas 148. Of the 296 applications received in 2015, 280 retirees have received the initial retirement annuity as of April 30th payroll. In 2016, received 286 applications, 117 from St. Croix, 169 from St. Thomas. Of the 286 applications received in 2016, 133 retirees have received the initial retirement annuities as of April 30, 2017. We received 64 applications from January 1, 2017 to April 30, 2017. St. Croix 32, St. Thomas 32. This includes semi-autonomous agencies and also the central government. As of October 30, 2017, the loan balance for 7,399 units is approximately $116,368,609.41. Of that amount, personal loans, the units are $7,260 for personal loans, which includes active personal loans and retiree personal loans. Is 109 of the 116 million, 109,157,596.60. Operations, the write-off has been completed. However, there were some minor repairs to correct some deficiencies before rental decisions are finalized. We did discuss with WICO some options on last Friday. St. Croix Office Complex, rental decisions are pending. In regards to Pleasant, the old St. Croix office building, no problems at report date. We do have some problems with St. Thomas Office Complex. If you were here yesterday or the day before, we did have some issues with our air conditioning. As you know, in our strategic plan, the air conditioning would be replaced. We are presently awaiting some information from Geridian so we can do an RFP to get or have a contractor to do the job. There's been some upgrade to the pump house. It's estimated that the project will be completed by the end of May, and also the roofing upgrade. The water line, we did have some problems with the ruptured main water line, and that issue was corrected. The roofing project, the majority of the leakages have been corrected. There's no observation of reoccurrences. As you know, the roof is the original roof, so going forward, we have plans to replace that roof. Rental revenue collections in the month of April, rental collections were $36,044.34. Electrical collections, $19,602.56. Rental year to date, $311,292.51. Electrical year to date, $123, $101.09. Rental arrearages, very significant, $436,575.98. Electrical arrearage, $72,791.05. Majority of the arrearages in rental is the Department of Justice and Division of Personnel. Casino Commission is 3 months in arrears. Havenside Mall refurbishment project. Latest schedule show that all work to be done by AT Construction will be finished by the end of May, which includes the guardhouse at the entry gate. The region Judge Woods will make a presentation in the regular session regarding our meeting with WICO for phase 2 portion. He has prepared an estimate for phase 2 portion of the project, and he will make that presentation later on in this forum. That concludes.
President, any questions?
Mr. Nate, in regards to, you said there were some options discussed for the White House at Whitehall. You wanna share those? 'Cause I'm not sure if I'm familiar with the options.
Well, first they asked me if they wanted, we have control over the White House. One of the reasons why we had control is because they were not maintaining the White House. We had to expend over $500,000 to fix that White House, to clean it out with asbestos, everything. So Mr. Graham asked if would we like to, could they assist in getting it rented. I would assume the only advantage for them is to increase their bottom line, not GRS, really. The problem is that they shared options, but they didn't say what. We told them that we would like to see it become a museum. And that would be my recommendation. I've discussed that with the board before, trying to see if we can get a museum in there. Someone did approach us, but they wanted the structure for free charge. I feel that the GRS can at least make at least over $500,000 a year on that property if it becomes a museum. There's no overhead per se other than electricity. May have to have 1 or 2 persons in there, but the problem is getting individuals who I think have the experience in archiving, because they can't come back to work. Most of them are retirees from the government, DPNR. So we're exploring other opportunities. Now, I don't know, when we discussed it, we felt it would have been a good thing, because the tourists always ask, what's that building up there? They just say, well, it's vacant. It's where the offices of the Danish company used to be. So it had a good reception as far as the museum, but then there's some issue where Katerinburg also is planning to become a museum. We probably will try to move in and move as fast as possible, because what we can do is team up with the tourist ships do tours. And with the tour guides to do tours, the first stop would be, to go to the museum and then start walking around. Now I saw in the papers this morning that, which Mr. Graham didn't discuss with us, at least he should have put it on the table, that he is planning to develop something over there, a little way from there. Their headquarters hopefully will not compete with Havenside. That's what he said today. That's what the newspaper said. He didn't discuss that with us. We also discussed with him the possibility of Jack Pickle. I brought it to the table that, Jack Pickle did meet with us. And we were planning to probably do some development also close to the dock area. And I told him, well, Jack wanted to discuss with him also some possibilities of maybe Wyco doing some development further down. But I thought it was very disingenuous. He didn't bring to the table, which I saw in the papers today, that he plans to do some investment. I think it's the same, I don't know, the same thing that Mr. Bushalty was talking about, but some investment also close to Yarkhaven Grand that hopefully will not have any complication with GRS. But our main concern is doing the museum at the White House. If that is not feasible, then we'll just have to see if we can get, maybe some attorneys or maybe doctors. But we're trying to correct some deficiencies that we have right now in the White House. Minor deficiencies. It looks very good. It's very clean inside. It's spotless. But there's some minor deficiencies that we have to correct.
So these deficiencies are going to be corrected by the contractor?
The contractor or, in-house we are doing some of it, majority of it. There was an issue with the servicing of the elevator. And also we're looking to determine, because downstairs is very damp and water was seeping in. It appears that they have corrected.
Yeah.
I didn't answer the question, Council?
But I didn't ask.
He asked a bad question.
Yes, I didn't.
I thought the intent was the question was who's gonna pay to correct the
That's what I meant. Really. I didn't ask that question. That's what I meant.
Well, like I said, we plan to do most of the correction inside. We do have to get a service contractor for the elevator. There's some issues with the former contractor. I don't want to be talking about it right now on the table. But we plan to maintain and correct the minor deficiencies in-house. We are waiting to determine if we're gonna have a reoccurrence of the water problem downstairs. Because from when we go to the curb upstairs, we see that the water don't have no place to go, so we think it's seeping in through the concrete. But it's been dry, there haven't been any rain, so we haven't seen anything so far, but we're looking at that problem. The air conditioner, we had some malfunction in the air conditioner downstairs. We have corrected that. And that started to accumulate some mold, so we had to remediate that. And that is taken care of. But it's a beautiful building. It's, if we can get a museum in there, I think the GRS can make some money, because you have about 1.5 million people coming on the dock. Let's see, even if it's only 200,000 come to visit, plus the local walkthrough, can engage the schools and things to come and see the museum weekend at $5 a head. Obviously, the school children will get in free, but at $5, at $5 a head, I mean, we can make some money on the dock.
Mr. Nebbs, if you plan to put a museum in that building, how do you plan to stock the building? I don't know whether
Well,
stocking is the correct word, but the items, the documents, whatever to be exhibited. I mean, what do you anticipate to be the sources of those things?
Well, Senator Jackson was the first one that approached me on that project. And he used to work at DPNR, he's a historian. That's the reason why I was looking at former employees who work either in the libraries or DPNR to really start up, or consult with us and see where we can get all of these documents. I'm sure some of them are in the archives and we can get them on loan from the archives and the library. But you would have to depict what occurred on that dock back prior to 1917, 1917 forward, with the women with the coal and the heads and all kinds of things. What transpired, what occurred on that dock. We can get old pictures from maybe from Denmark. I don't know. To put in the, so I'm not an expert in that, but I was trying to reach out to those individuals who have knowledge of archiving and the library and work with DPNR. But the problem would be they can't come back to work. They'll have to give up their annuity. And I don't know how many of them would want to do that. So I'm still relying on Senator Jackson to assist, to point us in the right directions. That's how I'm envisioning approaching it.
I think management is going to be pretty important too. You know?
Yes, yes. Yeah.
So, I mean, that's something that ought to, you really give a bunch. You have to think about very carefully. The management of it would, to a great extent, determine the success of it.
Right, right.
And what you exhibit also would help to determine the success of it.
Have you reached out to Ms. Claudette Lewis?
And that's who I was thinking about. I have not reached out to her. She's a family of mine, but I haven't reached out to her. But I know that if I approach her, she's retired, and we would want to have somebody on full time, and she would have to give up an annuity. I haven't reached out, but those are the individuals I'm thinking about.
And if we're serious about doing that, then we have some young Virgin Islanders.
Yeah.
I actually know two young Virgin Islanders in New York who are assistant curators at some museums. And to answer Attorney Maynard's question about stocking, but rejuvenating, many times they do is different artists would produce, you will procure some art exhibits for a time period, and you won't have that there forever. You'll show it for 3 months to however long. But as far as with the history, a lot of things will probably come on loan from Denmark, if not donated. Because I know in talking to some people, we're working on our collaboration with Denmark, they have a lot of artifacts over there that they're looking for ways to display. You know, I know they opened a new exhibit in Denmark, and we were trying to go this summer to see it, but they have, in the conversations, they have a lot of things that people are finding or pulling out of their families' basements and storage that relate to the history in the Virgin Islands. So those are things, if we do decide to do this and it becomes something that's going to be working on, finding material is probably not going to be our problem.
But someone to coordinate everything.
Yeah, well, you have.
I'm gonna rely on, I'm hearing things that, you're telling me things that I've never heard before. And you seem like you're familiar with, so we're gonna be relying heavily on.
These kids are promoting these children in the magazines and stuff now, and
Okay.
and then Miss Lewis
Yeah.
could be a great mentor, somebody to overshadow, where she won't have to give up her annuity, where she can then be a consultant part,
Or even
you know,
with that,
or however they work the
you have to give up on
Be a volunteer.
volunteer. Give her some perks,
It's just the law, they will
Yes.
allow, they will allow this.
whatever, however
I don't
they
wanna
do
put her in
that.
that position.
Yeah, however they do, that the law is written where she can do it some other time.
Yeah.
But, so those are things that we can consider. It's something that's a win-win for the GRS and for the community.
Correct.
To not have to go find those children's names, those young people's names.
Ms. Potter, is there anything I didn't say about the White House, the issues with the problem and the remediation?
But again, nothing that cannot be corrected, in terms of the deficiencies. Quite a bit of it had to do with the airflow, and it was just basically additional recommendations that were made after the refurbishment was done. In particular, we'd like to have an exhaust in the elevator room to ensure that, the heat that builds up can find a way out. So that is one of the things that they're working on. The other issues are really just ongoing maintenance issues, which can be corrected.
Okay. Anything
In
else?
regards to the White House, before we close out, I think the board should take a tour there, because, I'm sure some trustees have never seen the White House before.
I've invited the board many times.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Many
I didn't
times.
see you did that, you know, but I'm saying.
Yeah, you know,
Now that it's finished.
sure.
before the time.
Just let me know a date, and we would, I can throw out some dates and then we'll just be ready to go.
You know.
Okay?
Anything else? Not- Thank you, Mr. Nibbs. Committee reports. Oh, that's on my right.
And me.
Yes, I'm looking at you.
You the only one got report.
Mr. Chairman, as we all know, there was a meeting of the investment committee on May the 5th, and at which time a number of subjects were discussed in executive session. I expect to get we expect to get an update on those subjects, at least some of them today, and to see where we stand and what actions we might need to take with respect to resolving some of those issues. I'm gonna have to lean on Mr. Nibbs, of course, to bring us up to date on those subjects. That's the extent of my report for the executive committee, for the investment committee.
Well, in regards to the trade,
Can I interrupt, Mr. Nibbs? For those subjects that were discussed in executive session, I'm not expecting you to address
I
them.
don't remember
here.
which one was in executive session, which one was. All of them
What?
were.
Beg pardon?
All of them were in executive session? I don't remember what was executive session or not.
Well, I know VI Finance was in executive
Okay,
session.
okay,
I think Atalanos, I believe, was in executive
Okay.
session.
all right.
Just give me a second.
Pico? Yeah, Pico.
This was in executive session.
Pico was in executive. Pico was executive
Forest
session.
trading.
Jack Paco.
All were executive session.
They say all. So don't go
All?
trade again. It's
Okay,
all.
if all were, then of course.
And as you know, I did submit a summary to the investment
Yes,
committee.
yes.
Tried to set up an appointment with, Mr. Moore. He's away in New York. So when he comes back, Bruce Thomas, Glenville Henderson, and myself would like to meet with him again. And then we would set up a meeting in early June to meet with him, to come before the investment committee. Okay? But I'll let you know.
Very well.
Also, in regards to pickle, although I'm not gonna get involved in it, I need to look at, his proposal a little more and then come back with a recommendation to the board.
Okay. Smith, any report?
No? It's just as similar to the investment thing, development committee anyhow, so. And Haven side, and I think that was already discussed.
Mr. Colwood? A report? The medical review committee has one report too, that will be discussed in executive session. Okay. Treasurer's report, we can have treasurer's report today.
Okay, Ms. Dobbins called in sick today, so I'll read the treasurer's report into the record. This is the treasurer's report, schedule of receipts and disbursements for the month ending April 30th, 2017. Loan repayments, $1,361,177. Rent from tenants and utilities, $45,783. Rents from Haven site tenants net $649,523. Employer retirement contributions received $6,020,651. Employee retirement contributions received $3,887,180. Parking facilities $460. Miscellaneous $309,398. Total collections $12,274,172. Disbursements, annuity payments $21,024,591. Administrative expenses $1,232,110. Personal loans $494. Mortgage loans $34,853. Retiree loans $2,599. Auto loans $189. Refund of contributions $183,207. Allotments to WICO management fees $1,041,355. Total disbursements $23,519,398. Net deficits $11,245,226. Year-to-date fiscal year 2017. Loan repayments $17,424,164. Rent from tenants, utilities $424,044. Rents from tenants, Haven site tenants net $3,764,527. Employer retirement contributions received year-to-date $37,629,402. Employee retirement contributions received year-to-date $21,118,694. Parking facilities $4,310. Miscellaneous $933,729. Total collections year-to-date 2017 $81,298,870. Disbursements, annuity payments $145,881,084. Administrative expenses $7,998,172. Personal loans $364,060. Mortgage loans $229,146. Retiree loans $164,533. Auto loans $817. Land loans $509. Refund of contributions $2,720,702. Allotments to WICO management fees $2,840,627. Total disbursements year to date $160,199,650. Net cash deficit year to date $78,900,781. That concludes.
Thank you. Any questions? Smith on the treasurer's report?
Not a question, but the comment that comparing year-to-date 2017 to 16, we collected at this point more than $10 million less, and still paying. We've paid out, even though we've minimized our payouts. We've only paid out about $1 million more than last year. This time, disbursements, but our collections are $10 million behind last year. This is another problem for us. I don't know when or who is going to be able to reach our elected officials. But somebody has to get the point across to them that this is a problem. And it's a problem that we cannot fix here in this board or even in the GERS building. They have to do their part.
And if I may, Mr. Chairman, you should note that the employee contributions went up in January, a %. So even with the increase in the employee contributions, we're still running behind.
Any other comments?
Mr. Chairman, for the benefit of Ms. Nielsen, she had asked about what the composition is of the administrative expenses. I read that the administrative expenses year to date is $7,998,172. Well, personnel services, which are salary and wages, Ms. Nielsen, is $3,611,776. Fringe benefits, $1,320,905. So it's close to at least $5 million alone in between fringe benefits and wages. The other significant amount is $2,353,829. That includes the majority of that is professional fees and consultants. So you can see at least 75% or more of the $7 million is salaries and fringe benefits and consultant fees and things like that. So
Not travel and,
well, there's some, but I didn't break it out. But because that's very minimal.
right, that's why I wanted to emphasize that.
Oh
right?
yes,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Custodial thing, our investment managers, things that you can't get rid of.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, I need a motion for accept treasurer's report.
So moved.
Second?
Trustee Colwood,
Yes.
Trustee Liger, absent. Trustee Maynard,
Yes.
Trustee McDonald, excused. Trustee Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Calendar,
Yes.
Chair 4 yes, 1 absent, 1 excused. So Chairman, I think for the benefit of the audience, there was not a motion read out. So it's a motion to accept the Treasurer's report as of April 30th, 2017.
So moved.
Thank you.
As noted.
Okay. The motion has been passed. Treasurer's report has been accepted. Okay, investment officer's report.
Morning,
Mr. Thomas?
Mr. Chair. Yes, sir. Good morning.
Morning, sir.
The total plan returned 1.1% for the month of April and underperformed benchmark by 10 basis points. Total equity had a 1.6% return and outperformed by 30 basis points. Fixed income had a 0.8% return and matched the return of the benchmark, while the alternatives had a 0.3% return and underperformed each benchmark by 100 basis points. Brandywine had a 0.9% return but underperformed benchmark by 36 basis points, while Mesro had a negative 2% return and underperformed its benchmark by 151 basis points. Those two managers were primary contributors to the fund's underperformance for the month. We began the month with approximately 721 million in assets. We had net cash flows of approximately 15 million, income of about 746,000, and 7 million in gains, leaving us with 713 million in assets at State Street. We withdrew 15 million in the month of April, and we have raised 15 million this month, 7.5 from Brandywine and 7.5 million from Walter Scott. There were $321,000 of fees and expenses paid during the month, $258,000 in investment management fees, and $63,000 in investment consulting fees. For the month, we've earned $4,000 in securities lending revenue. And there is nothing to report in terms of compliance issues. Any questions?
Any questions for Mr. Thomas? No?
That's all.
Any comments? Again, Mr. Thomas, thank you for your job you're doing. And again, congratulations on your soon to be achieved new designation. That's correct?
Thank you.
Okay.
Later
You,
Oh, to the chair, Mr. Nibbs, in regards to those merchants at Waiko, have they mentioned anything about reduction in rent for this summer? I know every year they come and they ask for rent reductions and sure it's gonna be coming up soon.
And you know, that was part of the discussion at the Waiko meeting. They kind of hinted that, you know, they may be coming and we should maybe consider it. I told them no. I indicated to them that the board will not entertain any rent reductions any further. I know that the Mr. Ram Mapuri saw me last Sunday. I was over there in the mall and he asked to, you know, have a meeting with the board. And I know what he's coming to talk about. They want rent reduction. I really said it and very emphatically on the table with Waiko that we will not entertain any more rent reductions. What we may entertain is a sliding scale in the rent and maybe go back and amend some of the rental agreements or include in any new rental agreements that in the months where you're doing okay, you pay a higher rent. In the months where it's slow, you pay a lower rent. At the end, in the 12 months, you'll be paying the same rent. But I know that they're coming, and I told them that the board will not entertain, and I think that's the board's position.
I guess we know.
We cannot. We just cannot do that anymore.
I didn't like the position of the system.
Now,
And
the
in
board,
regards
if
to
the board wants to entertain it, fine. My recommendation would be that the board not entertain any reduction in rent. It has a significant impact on our value of that property. Our value of that property was reduced some $40 million since I've been here. And yes, we like to help our tenants, but you know, in business, if you can't pay your expenses, then you find some other place to go. And I'm not trying to be, you know, sarcastic or anything like that, but I mean, GRS is not doing as well as it is. We have lost a lot. Our profit has gone down almost $1 million since I've been here. Used to be up to close to 4 million, 3.8 million in profits. Now we're getting less than 3.
Business as usual. And secondly, are there any vacancy over at Haven site?
No, I think
everything is filled?
based on our conversation, they're about 95, 96.
90-something% occupancy.
Pardon me?
90-something% occupancy, I believe 96, 98%
Right.
occupancy.
2 buildings, probably
Correct.
2 buildings open.
That's good.
Whatever happened to the pirate proposal?
I mean, Patron?
Oh, same company.
I haven't heard anything since then, and I that was discussed around the table, and it appears that that's off the table.
I was supposed to ask Ms. Bourne when I saw her the other day.
Because the development that Mr. Pickle is talking about is parcels 2 and 4, and I think that's the same area where Patron would have been. Now, John Woods is coming shortly to present the refurbishment proposal, so he may have more insight than I have. But from what I understand, it's mute.
you know, Mr. Knight Randy Knight was the advocate for that
Correct.
project, and
Right.
maybe once he left,
Okay.
he died.
Yeah.
Went with him. Yes. Okay, thank you. And move on. New business, election of vice chair. You know, we have a vacancy. We don't have a vice chair since the resignation of trustee. Trustee Ross. So we need to fill that position. So that whenever I leave, I don't have to keep asking someone to
Fill in.
fill in.
Yeah.
It'll be automatic. So,
Well, Mr. Chair, I would like to make a motion to
Nominate.
elect,
Nominate somebody.
nominate.
to nominate trustee Carol Collwood for vice chair.
Do I hear a second on that?
I'll second.
Get a second? Okay.
Trustee Colwood?
It's not a
Motion.
motion. It's just a nomination.
So we need to,
See there,
and you all, yeah.
No?
Well,
Not-
Do I
it's
have
not
the
a
option of
nominee.
saying no?
Well,
You nominate
it's not a
anybody to
nomination.
nominate.
Who are you going to do? Are you going to nominate?
Well, the,
If
well-
you've never supported her, I can't run for the position.
well, what do? Don't we have an election? If there's a nomination, there's a second. Isn't there an election?
Yes, that's what.
But you have to
See,
look
there
to see if
are
you have
any
another
nominations.
nominee.
If not, you have one candidate and then you have an election.
We could still vote for one candidate. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding there.
Don't go there.
Start that process.
Yeah.
Just
All right, then. Okay,
All right.
Well, there's no other
No other
nominees,
nominations.
so we, like I said,
Okay. So
then, Mr. Chairman, you just make a declaration.
I don't wanna
As
do
there
that.
no, as there no other nominees, then we, she what?
we don't need an election.
Let's have a vote on
you want to get me in trouble.
Well, again,
Yes.
we would like, since there's no other nominee, I'd like to, nominate trustee Carol Colwood for vice chair of the Government Employee Retirement System Board.
All right, so are we going to vote?
Yes.
Yes.
You robbed the chairman of declaring.
There was a second.
Oh.
Yes.
Declaring.
Turns in that second.
Huh? Yeah, you just have to declare who the winner is. Make a declaration.
Go ahead. You voted. You vote. We need for you to vote.
Pepon, I vote for the nominee.
Okay, that's one for Carol.
He's gonna call the vote.
Oh, you call the roll.
Trustee Colwood?
Not nominee, yes. But, you know,
Trustee Liger, absent. Trustee Maynard?
Yes.
Trustee McDonald, absent. Trustee Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Calendar?
Yes, for.
The chair, 4 yes, 1 absent, 1 excused.
All right, thank you and congratulations. Now I don't have to.
Congratulations.
condolences, I like it.
No.
Not in this.
You're gonna ask somebody, just ask she in
Been here
Africa
long
when you.
enough now to know what to do.
Yeah,
Now I can take
call
some.
Miss Smith.
Now I can take some more vacation.
I know exactly what to do. Tell Trustee Smith.
Nobody.
Okay.
How long is
The
the
phase
video?
two Haven Mall refurbishment proposal.
Okay, so I'll tell him to come for.
He's on his way, so let me see if he got it.
We take 2 minutes.
Yes, Ms. Vice Chair.
No, I'm going to.
Yes.
That was a question, that was a request.
You
'cause
made
I'm-
history, are you the first female vice chair?
No, I was before.
No, Miss Smith. That's why I
Oh,
was
that
like,
was,
Remember, I barely had female at this board.
oh, that was before my time.
Yeah, that was before your time. Oh, it was James and myself.
You had a female chair.
Yeah, I know that.
It was Allah, right?
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh, and you had Miss King.
Yeah, we had Miss King, and then we had Corinne King.
I don't know who that person is.
She was a teacher, an educator.
Oh, see, that was, somebody asked that question the other day about, an educator on
Yeah,
the
Troy
board.
King. You're nice.
I think so, thank
Move to
you.
the States.
You have another one for me, Pedro?
What's that?
Are you filling it up? That's all we see. Mine could fit there. Yours could fit there. Mine could fit there. Okay, so I have to run away from 12 to 12:30 because my mom's going.
She gonna get away again?
Because remember, we were supposed to go leave together, and I made a reservation for
So she'll be there?
Thursday. So she's going to leave. Yeah. So she's leaving. She's supposed to leave the same time as us, and then she's for settlement. Somewhere along the line.
Yes, I believe.
Are we on break?
Yeah,
2 minutes. Waiting for the presenter for Waco. I mean for Haven.
Marlene Francis. You have an extension for her? Who? Marlene Francis. Wapa.
I don't know Marlene Wapa.
How would you like it? I remember you do carnival.
Marlene Francis. To take some medicine. My knee decided to act the fool today.
Mr. Nips,
He's on his side.
so we're gonna wait for him.
Yes. Okay. So,
Mr. Chairman, what happens if we have a nomination, it's second,
Excuse
we
me.
have an election,
Dr. Calendar,
but
Excuse me, yes?
can you all go on mute please until we come back on record?
Yes.
When you have to something.
Why not hear what they're talking about?
What?
Why not hear what they're talking about?
yeah, what I'm saying, what happens if you have a nomination, it's seconded, you have an election, but no one votes? I mean, everyone abstained. This is just a hypothetical. That's the kind of stuff you talk about when you're drunk, but, you know. Huh?
I'll look for that. Well,
The line,
yeah, I'm trying to get somebody to turn it off. I mean, to put it on mute, I don't know how to do that.
okay. Okay, well, I didn't swear. Okay, I didn't. Okay, I didn't swear or anything. I'm just asking hypothetical. What happens when you have that situation? What do you do?
Call on the,
Let me get it back.
call on experts for, what was the book of? What's his name?
I think-
Robert True.
Robert True.
Robert True.
Robert True.
Yeah.
I can see that there's
Download this. Hit download.
Is that good?
yeah, everything's good.
No.
Yeah. No. Thought we were gonna go to PJ Chat.
Okay. And all of these really challenges.
J Forbes.
Investments.
Yeah.
The restaurant, PJ. That's the name.
Thank you. I was just giving it to you. I will ask you.
But remember we went there one day.
it was all right.
Yeah. I was not. I've never heard of it.
Any of
Never
it.
been to one. Never been there before or since. Yeah. I thought it was gonna be one of the places that you like. Yeah. Yeah, I feel the same way. I feel the same way. Yeah, yeah.
Forced
Feel
them
the
to
same
even
way.
very speak. I can't.
You know the guy Roger Isle? Yeah.
Are they smiles like
Isn't
this?
that amazing?
Are they smiles like
There's so
this?
much pressure on the guy.
Probably. 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 Is that?
But to see a guy like that out
This is
there,
Caramel.
Any-
look at how the guy
Yeah. This is Caramel.
I need to sign.
wishful thinking. Wishful thinking, you know.
Those guys ain't caught up with the scandal. Because the guys figured they got the money, they couldn't get the money.
They don't yeah, money is power.
Yep.
They can do anything.
This was in yesterday. You ain't good on everything yesterday.
Wanted to be interested in
Hey, you got your pajamas yesterday.
It's just a bit, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he was always on.
I had on my short pants.
But they hold it.
But good thing I come, good thing I get this. This side down, this side working at home.
Huh?
If this side works at
Yeah,
home,
look.
no, but
Oh, really? Anything.
I look at the stuff, right? Instead of just listening, you know. But she didn't give me today, so.
Okay.
Oh, see there. What did I get today? You got out?
Yes, he's gone.
So you have to go take you something with your grandchildren.
Yeah, them grandchildren can live with them. Yeah, them grandkids don't kill you.
I don't know anybody.
Sign that up there.
That's me? That's not me. Nia. Just?
No, that's not.
Okay, I'm in the wrong seat.
Your phone will tell you when people see the text message.
No, no, she didn't answer.
Oh, okay.
We need to feed. Football club, man.
Yeah.
My son called me. You know what? My son works with him up to the boys club. And tell me that his father just passed him. His father was low. Yes, he just passed.
Oh, really?
So I just texted him.
Oh.
He's taking care of his mother and his father.
Is that right?
One guy.
You're supposed to have a board meeting tonight?
Yeah.
No.
I'm supposed to be there tonight. I'm going to find out from him whether they should just postpone it. Or we could just meet. I'm going to have to contact Miss Machine. We could just discuss. I think they should just have it tonight.
Still not great.
So meet. But you good enough.
Sometimes that's what you have to do.
You think you're not? Because that looks very happy. I
Now you're waiting on
will be right away.
Stay low and just wait. Be patient.
Bring your phone.
Just.
They're ready to kick us out anyway. They're hoping they won't be.
Patient.
Right.
There's two hidden sidewall refurbishment project.
Can I see you?
Yeah, they did.
Okay. No, I mean, can I see?
Yeah.
Can you tell when they've restarted?
They'll communicate when they're.
Because it seems kind of oh, I see.
He's not here, they didn't have to remit. Mr. Lagos is not here.
It's fair in the
What they show?
Oh.
It's fair. You want admin the street. I hope to be fair.
One members of the,
Supposed to be here.
ambassador, one fair and impartial ambassador. That's for you.
I know. I'm not even trying to do rock at me, like I can't.
Listen, we wouldn't have any idea, those who are listening,
So as
now we know, but we wouldn't have any idea what you're
Take it
like.
easy on it. Every time I talk, every day. That's the longest too. You does that. You know who does it? I see.
So, you know what? I gonna be paying in passion. When they do shit, I got Alamo.
It's not only
everybody that
bad, like
sick with them.
it's worse than what you're saying.
To hear these things.
So what's unfair on it?
So
It's not unfair,
Yeah,
it's
man.
worse than you say.
I know.
You see, he yelling
I
for
know.
years.
I don't know. I ain't gonna say
Years.
that.
Okay, but
It's worse than this thing.
But it's worse even than what you
downward
say.
slide that
But when I say,
day before.
they gonna say no.
Yesterday he was just
Hanging in there. They want us to be shocked all at one time when we don't have a check no more.
Yeah, man,
Don't
they'll be
worry
carrying
us
a heavy
now,
load.
let us be happy.
No, don't say no.
the board and
Kill
the
them one shot.
Drop it on the one time.
boom, the other okay, you follow to the doctors go and identify. I've been there that time and you too.
Saying, she's saying,
Very easy for some.
upstairs is it? Can we
You can't separate it and 10 different things at the same time. I'm telling you.
do something? They're not, we are doing something, they're not doing anything to impress the politicians, how serious
Come on,
it is.
listen, listen.
When there's a hearing, they send Mr. Nips to give them the numbers.
Yeah.
But they're not doing
But
anything.
guess what? They send me the little boy. Everybody else said that.
If he comes back, it'll be,
Just check in the office.
it's gonna be very competitive. They had the first game, what?
Muted still.
You know, Golden State.
Only that, or you can get it later.
Yeah, no, that's okay. He did it.
Like that one?
Yeah, he did it.
And I'm sure Golden State.
No, sure. This is trying to get it. Okay, so.
I went to the back.
Announce his presentation.
He sent you my question.
Remember when put that.
Trump is called Russia probe, which
Guys,
Roger Ailes died,
Oh.
the guy from Fox. The sexual harassment, he died.
Okay, we back on the record?
What?
12. As I stated earlier in the meeting, that we will have Mr. Woods of Geradian to come and present the proposal for phase 2. Phase 1 is just about completed. I think the guardhouse, last I heard was the guardhouse and the air conditioner in the guardhouse. Pretty much finished. So, as you may recall, phase 2, we were planning to request some funding from the governor. I seen in the papers, I wasn't to the meeting when it was discussed, but from what I understood, the governor was supposed to advance, gave us at least $5 million through a bond issue from PFA to move forward with any additional phase or phases. So Mr. Woods is here to show us what we did so far in phase 1 and what he is proposing, what is planned for phase 2. Okay, John?
Yeah, good morning. Thank you, Mr. Nibbs. I'm gonna just share with you some of the information we presented at a joint meeting of WICO and GRS last week. So the first thing I'll try and do But I think some of the people in this room already have this, so. And I'll just go through it very briefly. But while I'm handing this out, I'll just sort of talk as I'm handing it out. As Mr. Nibbs referenced, phase one is almost completed. The signage work is being done, and the signage work is being completed, and if you guys can share that one, and I'll leave this one is being completed, and as on the construction side, they had a punch list walkthrough on Tuesday, so they're developing that, and they're right now settling the last accounts with the contractor, particularly a substantial credit that we took with the northern parking lot, or decided to take in conjunction with the WICO representatives and the planning committee on the northern parking lot, because as we got into the construction, we realized that simply just putting a new asphaltic overlay was not going to solve the problems in that lot. That lot really ideally needs to be completely reconfigured, and use that opportunity to increase some of the landscaping and parking spaces in that area of the mall, because we focus on the first phase in the center mall, and so that would open up that area on the northern side. So we did seek costs from the contractor to try and do that, as well as some other things, and his costs were too high for us to consider because of the stage of the job we were in. We were near the end, so his extended overhead costs were way too high. So what we are proposing that credit will be used for, which we're hoping the board will approve, is to, in essence, paint buildings 6 and 7 with different colors, similar to what we did the first 4 buildings, and to do the canopies similarly to what we did on buildings 1 and 2, as well as some work on 4 and 5. So pretty much every building in the mall itself, the retail buildings, will all have, a similar color scheme. I mean, not similar colors, but similar approach. And we're planning to do that, or would like to do that, with WICO's construction staff, because they are certainly more than able to do that. And so we figure, from the letter you have in front of you, that it'll probably run somewhere, well, the credit is going to be somewhere around, we haven't settled it yet, it'll be between $180,000 to $200,000, and that should cover with something to leave back, hopefully, with the WICO staff doing it, because you'll just be paying their direct costs as opposed to a markup. Just as a point of reference, the contractor had about that amount of money in his phase 1 budget for the painting of the 4 buildings and the canopy. So we feel pretty comfortable there's enough money there for that. Now, during the construction phase, we met several times with the ad hoc committee to discuss ideas for other improvements in the mall. And so we looked at opportunities along the way as to how we could improve the mall. And much of it is continuing the same flavor as you see now, but really adding more landscaping and passive recreation areas, seating areas, than what you have now. The primary thing we focused on the exterior was the center mall, trying to make that more pedestrian oriented, and the northern parking lot I just spoke about, because the opportunity existed to really expand the pedestrian paving and landscaping between Smoking Rooster and Tap and Still. So we developed some designs. The largest sheets show you where we are. That's the new entrance sign with the guardhouse right behind it. And the second page shows you different photographs of some of the improvements. If you look at those 6 photographs, you know, we have a minor arch between by Gate 3's area, and that leads you to one of the kiosks. There's 4 kiosks in all that have been refurbished. That leads you to head down by Gate 3, Building 3, or you could continue on to the Center Mall. The second photograph, well, the photograph right below that shows you the 10-foot sidewalk that aligns right at that crossing. And one thing we've seen, and the people from Waco have affirmed, the paving of those sidewalks have been very beneficial. They do help direct the pedestrian traffic. So they've been very successful where we put them in, from the 3 main gates. And in this case, this one goes north-south along the center road. The one before that used to be about 5 feet wide. And so by doubling the size, it accommodates the pedestrians much more. Next to the one with the arch, you see with both of them between up and down how the canopies were changed to provide these decorative dormers that have also been very successful in changing the look of the front of buildings 1 and 2. So this is what we're trying to duplicate now on 6 and 7. So you'll have a similar look going on. On the upper right corner, you'll see how the improvements by the Mermaid fountain have been handled. That area existed before. It was concrete pavement. We made it brick, and it also used to have a hedge that blocked visibility. Now it's heavily used right now since it's been renovated. The large palms, which are going to grow into be much more massive than that in this area, as well as by Smoking Rooster, you know, they're still in the process of growing, and so they'll provide a lot more shade as time goes on. So the success of the Mermaid's fountain area is what we want to try to expand on in other areas of the mall, including down by Smoking Rooster, where it's a concrete pavement, and we want to turn that into brick. The last photo on the upper and the lower right is a pathway from Gate 3, and that also has been very successful with the introduction of the new palms. The one thing with this particular one is that during construction, we wanted to try and make the landscaping even denser here, but we just didn't have sufficient funds to do that. So that's one of the items as we get in to talking about phase 2. We also want to add additional landscaping in this area as well as others to fill it out. You know, not just trees but shrubs. So if you go to the third page, you'll see the crux of what a lot of phase 2 is intended to be. In the centerpiece of it is the center mall, which you see between buildings 1 and 2, and a meandering roadway with substantially more landscaping, some street vendors. They're trying to do some kiosks to introduce other types of shopping experiences, obviously fountains for water feature. On the right-hand side is a realignment of the northern parking lot. You see the sidewalk area by Building 7 gets substantially wider with landscaping. And with that entrance realignment, you will have now a two-way entrance and exit, whereas right now it's only an exit. So, and what will be developed for that area will be another one of those arches. We haven't really pinned down whether it's best between 6 and 7 by the plaza, by Smoking Rooster, or another big one like the entrance between 1 and 2. So, I mean, we're still looking at that. The Smoking Rooster Plaza will get a brick paving that we weren't able to do in phase 1. And then the sidewalk that is by the parking lot by parcel 2, we want to widen that because that pedestrian way is used heavily. And if you've been there, the sidewalks are fairly narrow. We would have liked to have done it on both sides, but we just don't have the roadway width to narrow it any further. And this one is easier by just pushing it into the parking lot. Another item we're recommending in phase 2 is the reconfiguration of the security building by Building 1. That building juts out by Building 1, and it blocks the walkway by Building 1. So if you're coming from Gate 2, which is the main gate within the mall, within Waco, you really don't see what's going on in Building 1 until you get around that building. And that building was originally a tourism building, but the security office has moved there. So many of the merchants have asked during this process to try and reconfigure that building. And so we're reconfiguring it, again, more with the, not just functionally, but also with the aesthetics of the mall to make it a two-story structure, add the replacement space on the upper floor, so it'll be like a small tower, which could be a visual focus as you come in the mall, and for the security people, they'll be elevated. So that's the scope of phase 2. As you go through the other sheets, you see in greater detail what's going on. We have to finish the landscaping between the next sheet. We got to finish the landscaping between buildings 2 and 3. We also have to do a ramp on the eastern side of building 3, because once you come up on a handicap access to 3, unless you go all the way back down to the end, you have to use the stairs. So we're going to do that. We're improving the landscaping. Now, there's been a lot of discussion about the curved road that you see there. We discussed that zone potentially being, for the most part, all pedestrian. It's wide enough, and the intention is that it could remain as a vehicular in and out road. But ideally, you could see what could happen in that center mall if it does become a completely pedestrian. So you see 4 little squares within there. Those are where we would have some street vendors. We have a lot more seating within the center mall, and you have a lot more benches and a couple more water features. So that's one of the major improvements. Would then link with the mermaid fountain area, and you'd have the idea is to keep people in the mall. So if people are in the mall relaxing, they'll have a tendency to want to stay there longer. The next sheet just shows how we may look at relining some of the taxi staging area. That's working well right now, but we may need to reline some of the lines because the vans are much wider than the standard space. And then the last one is the northern parking lot. And you can see what we're trying to do is shift that entrance of the northern parking lot further west so it lines up with a port of sale entrance and exit. And you know, that lot right now is poorly laid out because even though we widen the sidewalk, we're gaining about 10 more parking spaces just from how those parking spaces are laid out presently. So that's what phase 2 encompasses. Now, in the letter, on the last page of the letter, you'll see a budget breakdown as to what this all adds up to, which is just under $2.1 million. And we are also recommending, in essence, a 10% contingency for other things. So it's really ideally should work with a budget around $2.3 million. And so we presented this and other versions of this earlier on, a much reduced version when we were trying to get it hopefully under AT's contract to the planning committee. And so this is where we are. This is what the recommended completion of work out at the Havenside Mall. And that would really have all of the retail buildings basically brought up to the same level and the open spaces enhanced. We also gave just a very, I mean, obviously we do understand in the future you will look at parcels 2 and 4 because they are right in the middle of the mall between gates 1 and 3, and obviously that's the center of everything, and how that gets redeveloped in the future will certainly be important. But at least for now, the existing mall would be completely rebranded with a new look. And that's my presentation.
All right. Thank you, sir. Any questions from Mr. Woods?
I don't have any questions, but I think some of what has been presented here is an abstraction because we're not seeing things. And I think for me, an apt supplement to Mr. Woods' presentation today would be a presence, physical presence at these various sites to have a better appreciation of what he's saying.
Okay. A site visit.
Precisely. One thing I would like to ask is whether or not there have been any water features added to the improvements that have been made so far.
Nothing, no water features added other than, of course, they have 2 existing water features, which is by Smoking Rooster, that plaza right there, and the Mermaids Fountain. I think they're in the process of repairing the Smoking Rooster Fountain because it's empty right now and not operating. But I'm not sure what the status of that is. But we weren't able to add anything in the phase 1 first.
You think that would be an appropriate addition?
Well, that's what we're recommending here for phase 2. The reason why the opportunity exists between buildings 1 and 2 is that right now the WICO has implemented, with the concurrence, I guess, also of GRS, has implemented a circulation pattern where you can't park in the center mall, what they call the center mall, because it's only taxi drop-off. So they have a lot more asphalt in that area than they need now, and so we're looking at that because of the width of that area is perfect to try and redevelop some of it into, a passive recreation area with more landscaping, seating, water features, and I think the type of vendors they're looking for, and they call street vendors, you know, like ice cream cone people, that type of thing. Maybe smaller type of trinkets, but mostly I think, you know, fast food or dessert type vendors. So the intention is that the opportunity exists to make that area much more like that. That's one of the reasons why you see the road bending in that plan, so that we can increase the width of landscaping and what they call hardscape, you know, brick areas on one side, and then it shifts to the other side. So that area will look really different if we're able to, you know, reconfigure it. That's really the key, is right there in that center mall. And then, you know, when 2 and 4 are eventually developed, that whole, what I call the vista or access that comes from the dock in, that's the key part of everything, because gate 2 is considered the primary gate of the mall. So you come right into the middle of this mall.
I have a question, Mr. Woods.
Yeah.
Building 6, that was the original Scotia building?
Yes.
So I'm looking at how the proposed parking is set up. That's what, because right now, the parking is along.
No, the parking is slanted like that. You know where the difference?
Front of medical shop, the medicine shop. So because I'm looking at, I'm trying to.
No, building
visualize.
6 is, well, it was Scotia, but it's,
Gourmet Gallery.
It's Gourmet Gallery.
Gourmet Gallery.
Yeah, I said the
Going
original
up there
Scotia.
by,
Yes, I'm looking
Traffic
at
Shaft.
how the proposed parking.
The proposed parking on the left-hand side is pretty much what it is
now. So
The big difference where you're gaining the spaces is in the middle, because of those, the way they align those little, what we call pork chops, you know, with the landscaping in it. The way they are existing right now is not very efficient for the layout of the cars. And if you go in there, you'll see they have some, it looks like, I guess it was built over time, so the alignment of the spaces are not as efficient as it could be. So that's where we're picking up a bunch of spaces.
You say a bunch, how many spaces you talking?
Well, it's picking up almost 10 spaces.
A good much, because like when you go in there.
Even though we're widening the sidewalk, we're still picking up spaces because of that.
I didn't.
Let's see, you have 6 spaces there for safari buses.
Yeah, that's existing right now.
Oh, that's where they are.
Yeah, it's not, it's kind of roughly laid out. You know, it's not as, you know, when they did the Frenchman's Bay Road, they really, as you know, did a lot of damage in that area, so.
They took control of a lot of space.
So the primary parking spaces for the taxis will be behind.
It's right now between 1 and 6. It's already there. They're already using it right now between 1 and 6, and they basically, you have to come into the center mall if you're not on a tour and you're looking for a taxi, you have to come into the center mall and they'll direct you to the taxis parked right there behind, I guess, building 5 where the medicine shop is.
Do they still have parking for taxis down in the Waco there?
Only for tours.
Only for tours.
And on days where they have 3 ships, they may, just to get the people off, they may allow some of that, but only prepaid tours are allowed there. So they shifted all of those people, because you know what used to happen? They just peel off the people as they're walking in. You know, it's, oh, you want to go downtown? They look down and they see it's a long walk into the mall. They just jump in the taxi and go.
Do you have any statistics in terms of how many persons on the ships, what percentage on prepaid tours?
No, but WICO does. WICO has those statistics. And as to how many are prepaid. 'Cause they certainly, I think WICO even has statistics, from what I understand, how many people actually don't even walk off the ship, much less walk around the mall. And the merchants have bought, those little electrical trolleys are really successful. Probably if they get to the point where they have more, the whole transportation system will work beautifully out there.
Did they have, who selected the colors of these buildings? Were the women involved?
I beg your pardon.
No, the pastel colors.
No,
No.
Those colors are all.
It's all over
I'll
the
tell you,
Caribbean.
those colors are all. I know you have an aversion to the one set, but
Yes, yeah.
But you gotta look at it in total.
I try not to paint those other two buildings.
No, they will be different colors. That's the intention. They'll be different colors.
You go up and down.
So
the-
one will
and
be a brighter, yellow, and one will be more like lavender. I mean, they sort of already picked up. Sort of.
I'm not giving anybody any kudos.
Curious, so have them same color.
Yeah, these are historic preservation colors. They're more successful in lacquered gardens anyway.
Huh?
I said they're more successful in lacquered gardens. You see how they're doing it?
Yes.
But the whole, the reason, what happens with building 4 and 5, if you look at building 4 and 5, and you put this big arch in the middle, they have to frame, they have to be painted the same. Whatever their color is, they got to be the same because they frame an entrance.
Okay.
I mean, that's the intention of those two buildings being the same color. Then the other two face each other, but 6 and 7 are not going to be any of those colors.
Thank you.
One of the things I have noticed, there are more people stopping to take pictures. A lot more photo ops with the cruise passengers because they now have something nice to stand in front of.
Right. And I think the kiosks they're not done yet because they got to put in the aluminum. We did the slats out of aluminum instead of they were plywood originally. So they got to install those, and then Cool Science has to install the directory, which is one of the problems we saw with the directory originally. If you went up to the directory, you knew more about what's going on in St. Thomas than what's in the mall, because they had this big map of St. Thomas and a little tiny map of the mall. But if you look also, the numbers on the buildings, each building has 4 locations of numbers. One in the middle and at the ends. And so I believe Jill Farley of Cool Signs, what she's going to do, at least in the design she presented, and if you look at some of the signage on the dock, your directory is going to have a color, similar. If you have something in building 6, then that color is sort of showing up, so you not only recognize the number, but also
building color. That makes sense.
So that's why. So every building is different for that reason.
We just need some money now. Right?
Well, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. The burning question is, how do we finance this? Now, what I had asked Mr. Woods at WICO, is let's do a report to the governor with visuals and everything. Let him know this is where we are. We've completed this phase, and is the promise still on the table? We can go for the full among the 2 point, whatever it is, and ask him, is the promise still on the table? And we'd like to know if we go ahead with putting up our money, would we be reimbursed, or can he advance the money? Well, he may say he don't have it. If he doesn't have it, what do we do? We just don't do it? So, I mean, I think that's where we should go now. Just get a report together with visuals, maybe before and after, whatever. he said he didn't want to just see buildings painted and all that stuff, but the place looked really nice. I think, you have to really go around and
Yeah,
walk
uplift it,
around.
right?
The tenants felt good about it. I've spoken to a few of them.
All you need to do is change your product now.
Yeah, that was
So I think that's the question. I mean, what's the timetable, John and?
Well, you remember, what I would probably do is we had done a draft several months ago, so now I think we'll just take that draft and build, it won't be much to build on it and add this information. Get somebody take better photographs than my iPhone, that type of thing. And it shouldn't be that long, probably about 2 or 3 weeks. We can send you the draft again, and that would come from you and Mr. Graham. And the real thing, what this does, I think, this last, let's say 2.3 million would finish off, I think, what GRS needs to do. And then of course 2 and 4 is something that a developer does. Doesn't need to be something that you have to consider redeveloping on your own. You would be counting on a developer to do 2 and 4.
Probably. Another question, I don't know if you read the papers this morning in regards to, do you have any knowledge what WICO is planning to, they claim that they plan to develop?
Well, I know at one time, other than discussions I had with Mr. Boshelter in the past, is at one point they were looking at the development of a water park on part of it, and they had preliminary designs done, but I'm not sure if they were trying to do that on the hillside, which I don't think is appropriate on the hillside. They might have been trying to do that between gates 3 and 4, which is the better place to put it. And I think, now they have April Newland on their board, and I think, just judging from the way the phrasing of Mr. Graham's remarks, I think they're gonna put
real estate agent?
Yeah, she's on their board now. So I think they're gonna put some sort of residential on the hill. So.
Well, isn't he speaking about between their office and Yacht Haven Grant? I think that's what I read.
No, they're talking about, the area they're talking about is by that whole, most of that, a good chunk of that hillside as you come around by gate 4 all the way at the end.
Oh, okay.
Where this, where Antilles School used to be and the yacht club is all owned by them.
Oh, okay.
So I think they look, at one time there was talk of theme park and all sorts of stuff there, but that's not an easy area to develop. So I think they may be looking more at residential over there.
Okay.
Certainly residential will help the mall too. And of course, since it'll be on the hillside, they won't be blocked by the boats as much as right in the flat part of the dock. So they haven't. That's the most I know about it.
Is WICO on board with the phase 2 proposal?
Well, yes, they are, because they, again, the planning committee included both WICO and GRS members in discussing that. I think Mr. Boshelter, when his input certainly led to making sure that this scope got developed, because we knew we would leave it with one part of the mall was done, and then of course you're hearing from the other merchants, well, when are you going to do me, that type of thing. So so they were very involved, primarily through Mr. Boshelter and Mr. Hadley, because they were on the committee.
So that's a yes?
Yes.
Yeah, but you must remember there's a committee made up of GRS.
Yeah.
So you won't know what was trashed out within that committee. But yes, I mean, They have no choice, I don't think.
The final
Oh, yes,
result.
I'm sorry, not just, I forgetting a couple other guys, not just those two, but Miss Ed Thomas and Mike Watson
Right.
Miss?
Mister.
on the White Coast side.
But let me say, we didn't object. I mean, they did come with a lot of good, like you said, a lot of good suggestions. Even the painting, the chairman had asked about the paint, even the painting, the colors came to us.
Yeah,
So,
we discussed it.
so tell us now, if you don't want it, I'll go back and say, hey, we painted.
No.
Find a different color.
That's what we wanted.
Oh, okay.
It's different tastes.
You're painting
Yeah,
about
yeah.
color.
Huh?
You're painting about color.
That's very evening. Okay, thank you
That's
very
it?
much.
All right,
Mr.
thank you.
Good. Thank you, John.
All right.
Need for you to stop by, so what need to speak to you.
Oh, okay.
On his day. Thank you. Okay, so. We'll be going to executive session. Okay, this portion of the meeting will be closed to the public for matters pertaining to trade secrets or financial or commercial information. Or legal matters. Need a motion to go into executive session?
So move.
Second. Trustee Colwood. Absent. Trustee Liger. Absent. Trustee Maynard.